There's a lot of bogus snake oil claims out there about diets that cure everything or a pill that will magically, oh, this pill treats all diseases. And you just take this one thing and all your diseases will go away. Well, I'm not here to try to sell you something like that, but I am going to tell you guys about something called angiogenesis and how our gut flora play a major role in almost every single disease known to man. When I say disease, I don't mean viral infection or bacterial infection. There's two common factors in almost every single disease out there. Like, for example, macular degeneration has to do with an excessive growth of blood vessels in the eyes. Obesity has to do with too many blood vessels growing within each fat cell. Acne has too many blood vessels growing in the sebaceous glands, causing an excessive production of sebum or oil. Vascular dementia, the name implies vascular dementia. It has to do with inflammation. Inflammation is another word for blood vessel growth. There's something called angiogenesis in the medical field. Angiogenesis is just a fancy term for blood vessel growth or regulation in the body. And it's crucial to development. But what happens in a lot of these diseases is we have an existing blood vessel, and excessive blood vessels will start growing off of it and start attacking tissue, like sending T cells to the joint. Like, for example, any inflammatory disease is linked to angiogenesis, like arthritis. Your joints have too much blood vessels going to them. And this is prevalent in almost every single disease. We have angiogenic conditions causing various health problems, from psoriasis, eczema, arthritis, skin conditions of all types, fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue syndrome, obesity, mental conditions like as I said, Alzheimer's and vascular dementia are both linked to angiogenesis. And the weird thing about this is people who are obese have a lack of gut flora diversity. People who have autoimmune disease have a lack of gut flora diversity. People with autism have a lack of gut flora diversity. And you start to put the pieces together. You start to see, well, all right, all these people who have angiogenic diseases also have a link with a lack of gut flora. And you start to wonder, like, what is a correlation between gut flora and angiogenic diseases? Like, why would angiogenesis be present in people with messed up microflora gut biome, like diversity? They don't have the diverse bacteria as other people do. If you think of people throughout, since the beginning of the Industrial Revolution to now, and people before the Industrial Revolution, think of how our diets were different. People who live in the jungle, they're active physically, for one thing. They eat off the land. They're not eating refined grain. They're not eating a high starch or high sugar diet. Like today, you'll eat a pastry, which is refined carbohydrates and sugars, which would be pretty rare in nature. I mean, you'd find some fruits and some berries once in a while, or honey, but you're not going to have a high amount of that in your diet. It's just going to be a once in a while thing. And today, the majority of our diet is a lot of sugars, a lot of starches, and we're taking antibiotics. So if you think of the beginning of modernization and the Industrial Revolution, what happened was people started eating more refined foods because we had the technology to, so we can eat whatever the hell we want, right? So people start eating these delicious, wonderful foods that are really tasty, and they start taking antibiotics. And what's that going to do to your gut flora, the bacteria inside of your system? We evolved to have a symbiotic relationship with these gut flora, and the gut flora inside our intestines feed off what we eat and we put in our mouth. So if we're eating vegetables like leafy greens and stuff from the wild, a lot of meat for thousands of years, and all of a sudden we start eating a lot of refined grain and carbohydrates, what's that going to do to the gut microbiome inside your intestines? Well, what it's going to do is it's going to feed the wrong type of bacteria, because the symbiotic relationship we evolved with is one type of bacteria. And then the bacteria that feeds on the grain and the high sugary diet and the high starchy diet is a complete other bacteria. So what you have is a beginning of a people who are starting to get disease. And the thing about bacteria, gut bacteria, is it's passed on from generation to generation. So when modernization happens and a mother starts eating food that's horrible for her gut health, she's going to kill off a lot of those good bacteria inside of her. And then she's going to give birth to a child that's going to have the same crappy gut diversity as she had because she destroyed it with her poor diet and antibiotics. She gives birth to the next generation of children. Her daughter is born with a weaker gut diversity than her mother had because the mother destroyed it. And now this daughter is born into the world. The daughter is raised on the same crappy diet, which is a lot of starches, a lot of sugars. So what happens to the daughter is her gut flora gets even weaker. And with the daughter having even more horrible gut flora, it's like a step down from the mother. The mother had a decent and she destroyed it, going down. Then she gave birth to the daughter who has the same gut bacteria as at the point of giving birth. And now this daughter has crappy gut bacteria to start with, and it gets worse and worse as she gets older until she has children. And what's that next generation going to have? Even worse gut bacteria. So this is a progressive cycle that keeps getting worse per generation as long as we keep eating these horrible foods that don't feed the right gut bacteria. And so you're going to say, well, my autoimmune disease runs in my family, or my obesity runs in my family. What's really running in your family is lack of gut diversity because it's passed down from generation to generation. So people are going to assume that these are genetic conditions, and there are genetic markers and traits because epigenetics, you guys know, different environmental factors will activate or deactivate certain genes. So I'm guessing if you destroy certain colonies of bacteria, certain strands completely, what it's going to do is change the way your body functions and processes certain grains, and it could alter your epigenetics. Well, why does a lack of gut diversity and angiogenesis go hand in hand? The reason for this is because when you have a messed up gut diversity, you have messed up ability to break down certain proteins. So depending on what specific gut bacteria you're missing, you're not going to be able to break down that specific type of plant or fiber. So let's say you react to gluten. You have, every time you eat gluten, you break out in psoriasis or something. What's happening is you don't have the proper bacteria to break down the protein of the gluten into a digestible form. So when you metabolize this incorrect protein, it's incorrectly broken down, you metabolize it, it becomes part of your flesh, it becomes one with your flesh. You are what you eat. Your body uses it to build fat cells, connective tissue, joints, cartilage, whatever. Your body uses it as building blocks to build the entire body. And now you have this protein in your body that your body's immune system does not recognize. So what does the immune system do? The immune system says, okay, this shouldn't be in the body. Let's get it out. Let's flush it out. So the body will start to grow blood vessels, aka inflammation, to the affected area. Let's say you have arthritis. It's going to start growing blood vessels to the arthritic joint, causing swelling because of excessive blood vessels, because inflammation is really blood vessel growth, literally. And then the entire reason this is happening is because the body is trying to flush, take it out. Let's take this protein out. We don't want it in the body. Let's take it out. But let's see what happens. You continually eat the protein that causes the immune irritation, okay? So it never leaves the body. So you have chronic arthritis. You have rheumatoid arthritis, okay? You're eating it every day since you're a baby. Your body is just riddled with it. You just, like, it's in your skin, it's in your muscle tissue, it's everywhere. The proteins are everywhere. Who knows what you react to, okay? And then angiogenesis happens, blood vessel growth happens, and then inflammation happens and diseases happen. So now the surprising thing about angiogenesis is also linked to cancer. With cancers, it's a little bit different. You'll have genetic damage or gene mutation due to sun exposure or eating something toxic. It doesn't matter what the cause is. You have damage to your cells, and it causes little tumorous growth. And the tumorous growth will be the cancerous growth will be really small, and that's how it starts. But then when it gets a blood supply, it starts to grow out of control because it has too much nutrients feeding it, and it's like giving a plant nutrients. With cancers, you have an angiogenic problem throughout the body. You might not have any autoimmune disease symptoms. You might not have any symptoms at all. It might just be in your muscles, causing your muscle swelling. So what's the solution? We got to think about it step by step first. Okay, so angiogenesis is triggered by not being able to break down certain foods, certain proteins or something. I don't know exactly what it is we're not breaking down properly. And then it's causing these reactions, these immune reactions where it's growing blood vessels to flush the flesh out. You're trying to flush the flesh out of this nasty stuff. So what you have to do is an elimination diet. And an elimination diet is, I'll give it the rough, short, brief explanation. It's a diet where people have found out, like, okay, if I stop eating citrus fruits, my autoimmune disease goes away in complete remission and I'm cured. If I stop eating gluten, my psoriasis goes away and I'm cured. An elimination diet is basically that. A whole bunch of people have discovered through trial and error over the decades, certain foods will trigger their reaction with their angiogenic disease, and they just basically compiled a list of all potential irritants, and the diet is basically you cut them all out for about 4 weeks, because it's not going to be an instant reaction when you cut it out. You're not going to instantly feel better all of a sudden. What happens is the body is trying to get the proteins out, the irritants out of the flesh, and it will take about a month, like 4 weeks, for the body to really work it out. But that's a month of not eating any of the irritants at all. So it's not a month of, I'm just going to eat a little bit. A little bit of cheese. A little bit of gluten here and there. Because you're reintroducing the protein, right? And it's going to remetabolize into your flesh, and it's just going to cause blood vessel growth all over again. So what you have to do with the elimination diet is completely cut it out for about 4 weeks. Let your body take it out, flush it out of your system, and then reintroduce one at a time and wait and see if you get a reaction. And that's as best we got today. Like, science hasn't caught up with this yet. There's no test to really accurately determine if you're sensitive to certain foods or not yet. So the only way is trial and error. So let's go over a quick recap. Okay? First, we got angiogenesis, or blood vessel growth, linked to all diseases almost. I'm not talking bacterial. I'm not talking viral. I'm talking incurable illnesses like lupus and autoimmune disease and all this stuff. Number 2, gut bacteria are linked to all diseases, okay? And this is the same exactly as angiogenesis. So when you look at each disease, they're also linked to a lack of gut flora diversity, and that includes obesity. And number 3, the elimination diet is the only diet that makes sense in terms of getting rid of an angiogenic condition. It's the only diet that actually makes logical sense. It's the only diet that I've seen work for almost everyone that tried it. And if it doesn't work for you, you're probably reacting to something else. Like, I've heard of some people reacting to dish detergent, like they use a certain detergent or dish soap, or other factors or chemicals that could be, like, it could literally be anything in your diet that you ingest that becomes part of your body, and that your body tries to flush out. It doesn't have to be a histamine reaction, like an allergic reaction, like achoo, achoo. It's not allergies. It's a flush response. It's the immune system saying, I don't want this in my system. So you're not going to get, I'm not allergic to anything. I eat it and I feel fine. Well, let me tell you, I was eating things that I was reacting to for years, and I felt fine and dandy until I cut them out and I realized my symptoms completely went away. Okay? So you can't trust your limited experience when you haven't done an elimination diet before.